Hello, welcome. I am so excited. We're going to take some time to chat together about mental health. We're going to have a little relaxing self-care day today. To me, self-care is learning more about oneself because you are so important and amazingly complex and loved. So let's dig in literally. I've been wanting to clean out this small screened-in sunroom porch for weeks now and turn it into an inviting work-from-home flower space, so we're going to get our hands a little dirty today. My friends, do you have a space in your mind or home that needs cleaning? I used to think I was unfixable and disgustingly imperfect because I had to get rid of some clutter. Guess what? We take out trash almost every day because that's life. Your daily interactions in and outside of your control dictate your buildup and yes, requires you to put on the gloves, tie up the garbage, or break out the cleaning supplies. It's not about having the clutter and the trash, aka the complex emotions or the thoughts or the stressors in the first place. It's about being aware of the trash and how much exists. This little sunroom first was empty when I moved in, but as I broke down moving boxes and ordered things nonstop that I needed, this cute space became a holder of, well, trash. At the time, I needed to move everything there to create space for other projects. Guys, there may have been a time or season in your life where you had to uphold a certain emergency plan or have an unideal thought process or actions to get through something big. You may have had to protect yourself and store away emotions for a period of time. That's okay. Sometimes we need to prioritize, but as long as you know you're doing it in the first place. If left unresolved, two things can happen. The buildup becomes so extreme that you cause other problems, or like this sunroom, where you're placing those thoughts, anxieties, and emotions, or taking up space that, if clean, can be a beautiful place of retreat, new opportunities, and happiness. Can you identify a built-up emotion or thought that's preventing you from creating a space of growth? Good. Let's clean it out. Imagine what you would grow if you didn't have that thing holding you back. We can't get rid of our anxiety permanently, but we can declutter often to give ourselves our imagination back. Compartmentalizing both the weeds and the flowers help us have control and let us water what we want and need to based on our goals. Ultimately, to separate thoughts from one another and most importantly from yourself. You are not your thoughts. Good soil does not mean easy soil. Let me say that again. Good soil does not mean easy soil. What kind of soil do you have for your thoughts, certain anxieties, emotions, and dreams? Is it a healthy place to put your ideas? More so, guys, maybe you actually tossed out good soil because you confused good with easy. Now for the seed. Some seeds are unseen to the human eye due to being so small, but they hold a lot of beauty. If they're germinated and cared for, they can fill a space of joy, nourishment, and provision. Oftentimes, we think the size of our opportunity or skill dictates the growth that we may have or what something can become. However, the seed is a perfect example that how big you are before starting something is less important than starting at all. So begin. We all have micro seeds inside of us that are grown to the sun of our kindness, self-care, patience, and love. I also want to touch on, related to the seed, is a great introduction to intrusive thoughts. Like little seeds scattered in the brain, everyone has intrusive thoughts. They are involuntary and usually disturbing in nature, and for me and many others, it causes a sense of distress and anxiety. As someone with obsessive compulsive disorder, I tend to think that my anxious reaction to said thought means something, when in fact these thoughts, also known as obsessions, have no meaning, but I give it meaning and I find myself extremely scared and therefore I tunnel into my compulsions to elevate the thought. But it's all one big cycle. A weed. What intrusive thoughts are you giving too much attention to? Friends, maybe you're always thinking negatively when you wake up, or you think constantly about how much you hate your appearance and you only notice the wilted leaves and not the beautiful flowers you've grown. Knowledge is power, and the second I learned about intrusive thoughts and how they worked, and hey, I can't control them, only feed them, a ton of my anxiety improved. There's lots of methods of dealing with intrusive thoughts, but you should always turn to professionals to work on these. You shouldn't feel shame or fear by expressing these thoughts, as they are just thoughts, guys. Uprooting these weeds creates space for amazing fruits and vegetables that are going to feed you on your many paths of growth and goals. You're going to continue to grow weeds. A perfect field does not exist, but hard work can create good lessons. When my intrusive thoughts progressed throughout my life, eventually I became debilitated and thought about suicide because the traumatic pain of these tough, terrible thoughts felt unbearable. However, I am proof that you can fight past that season of your life and come out on the other side. Now I can give a little knowledge back of what I wish I knew and honestly what I'm still working on. I'd love to hear some mental health processes or thoughts you guys are also working through in the comments. It's easy to watch videos and assume that the person has it all figured out and they're talking about it. It means they've mastered it. This is not true, at least for me. I am sharing what I'm learning because I'm a student and disciple for my whole entire life, and we're all very layered. So guys, maybe you have an anxiety or thought that is manifesting throughout most of the seasons of your life, but actually turn into something beautiful and healing. Not all anxiety, in my experience, leads me to bad things. Mental health has made me more empathetic, patient, and understanding of others. Your kindness from what you've learned in your hard walk can spread like wildflowers. I think sometimes I believe being in a state of emotionless, feeling nothing is good or what quote unquote normal is. So when I'm a little tense or overly jittery, I assume that's a bad thing. But in reality, it's just a thing. One emotion always replaces the next. We're always existing with some sense of feeling or process. So just because you're tired, a little restless, or thinking of something, it doesn't automatically override happiness and having some good pockets of sun in your days. But in the end, it doesn't matter if you're looking to plant marigolds, wildflowers, or basil. You need to water whatever you're planting. I wish, guys, I could tell you there's some easy, simple thing like water for our minds. I wish I could tell you that with that water, only best thoughts emerge. You can have the best intentions and still have involuntary, intrusive thoughts, negativity, weeds due to your efforts. Water can still grow bad things, guys, or experiences, but it doesn't make you a bad person. It doesn't mean you're a tarnished field. It means you're a tarnished field with immense purpose and nourishment. That's every single one of us, broken, but in all the best ways and well-designed ways. So what is water for the mind? Not to be corny, friends, but I believe it's love. The most wondrous, amazing thing. Sorry if you were looking for a little more complicated solve, but don't be fooled. Love is very complex and takes a lot of work. Love will grow weeds. It will create pain, cracks, problems, and honestly be our greatest loss. Mental health loves to make us second guess how much water we need before we drown. It makes us think we need water from others in abundance, but we also must first start with ourselves. With plants, sometimes you use a big watering can, but other times you use a spray bottle because maybe they're a little more fragile. Some ideas need to be gently worked on and watered like a spray bottle, while others need an aggressive big push. Love is both. Identify your delicate changes you're trying to make. Some are more emotional, raw, but are still worth pursuing to heal. It just means you may need to change your approach on how to tend for them. With mental health, at times we need to ask others to love us differently or in new ways if we're trying to overcome new things. Well, it looks like I'm all done here. I now have this peaceful space in the mornings or afternoons to work, read, or do some Bible study.